Have you ever looked at the world and just felt like broken? Like the gaps between us are turning into canyons every single day. You scroll through your social media and the comment sections are filled with rage. They're filled with anger. Some of the most hateful things that I've ever seen. You turn on the news and there's political divisions. And it feels like there's problems with no solution. You can feel hopeless. Even in our own families and communities, conversations feel like you're walking through a minefield, right? You're always constantly trying to dodge and maneuver and make sure that somebody isn't getting their feelings hurt. It's like we're losing the ability to see the humanity in each other. There's this deep exhaustion, a frustration, like the efforts to fix things, all the programs, all the movements, even all the shouting, they just aren't healing the fractures. It can leave us feeling hopeless and wondering if we ever truly can be united again. All over the world, people are having this feeling. And it's not just, that you feel like that. It's like, this is the world that we're living in. This is the world that our children are growing up in. And the consequences of this division is devastating. Like, we don't even know the full impact of what this is doing to us. We're creating a society that's choked by suspicion and where we retreat into our own tribes because we don't want to be around anybody who doesn't look like we look, think like we think, vote exactly like we vote. And that type of separation breeds contempt for the other. As long as we keep seeing our brothers and sisters as other, it makes it easy to dismiss their pain and to demonize their perspective. And that goes for believers and non-believers. We are the light of the world. And if we can't shine light into darkness, who can? But this isn't just about politics. It's a spiritual sickness. And it's an on-purpose division. Because what? Because the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He is the anti-God. And so if God is about a unity, then he is about separation. It gets into our hearts. It gets into our thoughts. It gets into our minds. It causes bitterness. It causes anxiety. It causes a deep-seated fear for our neighbors. I know that we all long for peace and justice. Like in our heart, in the core of us, we want to see a world where people are treated with dignity. I mean, I can see that in people's comments about the wars that are going on. I mean, that does bring me some hope that justice is still out there and people want to see it. But I know that it makes us also feel powerless to create it. But what if I told you that there is a 2,000-year-old blueprint, for healing our divided society, more relevant now than it's ever been before. And no, this is not a political party. It's not a self-help fad. It's a radical, transformative guide to social reformation. It's right here in our Bible. It's built on the principles of Jesus. So in this episode, we are going to unpack this blueprint and discover how we can reform society from the ground up. I know it may feel impossible, but all things are possible with God. And every change that's ever taken place started with one person and one idea, and then they found people to join in, and that movement got underway and it became unstoppable. What if this is our time? What if we are in that crux right now in history? Together we can do this from the ground up, just like they did in the early church. The early church eliminated poverty among their people in that same generation. There was nobody amongst them that had any need. Why? Because there was radical generosity. If someone had extra, then they gave what they had, so that someone who didn't have anything would have. They didn't use government grants. They didn't use fundraising campaigns. They didn't pass a basket or a bucket. It was spirit-filled obedience that guided them. It was love for their brother and their sister that guided them. It was the fact that they saw each other as a family. And they proved that it was possible to change an entire society because of the love that they displayed. The church, brought down the Roman Empire. And don't forget that the Roman Empire ruled the entire world. It wasn't like America or Japan or China and there were different governments. No, the Roman Empire ruled the entire world. And what the church did, what the people of God did, brought it to its knees. They believed Jesus when he said, "Give and it will be given to you. Good measured, pressed down, shaken together." They believed him. They lived the words of Paul. What were those words? Right here in 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 14. But by any equality, that now at this time your abundance may supply their lack, that their abundance also may supply your lack, that there may be equality. Paul is saying that they helped each other, and then there was equality. We can have that now. We do not have to continue business as usual. We can have radical reformation. They trusted in the promises of God. They trusted in Philippians 4:19, where it says, "My God will meet all your needs according to his riches in Jesus Christ." They had true faith. They believed what Jesus told them. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Don't worry about what you will eat or what you will drink or what you will wear. Do the lilies of the valley toil? Do the birds of the air worry? Aren't you much more important to God than either one of those things? This is what Jesus told his people, and you know what? They took him at his word. Why don't we do that? Why don't we feel the same way as they do? Why don't we believe that if we give, it will be given to us, good measured, pressed down, shaken together, and running over? But the good news is that the same Spirit that empowered them is still in us. The same Holy Spirit that was given to them at Pentecost is given to us when we are baptized and born again. The same gospel that allowed them to speak freely, that freed up their spirits to love and to forgive, is still available to us. There's nothing new under the sun. We have exactly what they have. And we love God. I don't believe that there's anybody watching this channel, listening to this message, that does not love God. I don't even believe that there's anybody listening to this channel that doesn't love people. But we've been misguided and misdirected into saving ourselves. That's what we've been taught. You know, make sure that you're right with God so that you have your ticket to heaven. Make sure that you are good to your family. Make sure that you go to work and you become a functioning member of society. But have we been taught to be uncomfortable a little bit so somebody else can be comfortable? Have we been taught not to hoard, not to save, not to put away so that we can give to someone else? And I'm not even saying that the people of God are not generous. Because we look at these mega churches, we look at these multimillionaire pastors, and people are giving. They want to give, they love to give. But that money is not making it to the people. We're not demanding that that money go to members of that church or even members of the community, right? They have sovereignty over that money and they do whatever they want. So it's not that we're not generous, it's that we're misguided. We're misguided. And I'm saying that if the money that you're giving to your congregation, to your church, is going into the pockets of your pastor or even the staff, or even to build a new building, if it's not directly impacting the life of the members or the community, then why are you doing that? Why would you continue to do that when we all want the same thing? We drive by homeless people. You know there are people who are hungry. You know there are people who can't pay their bills. And there is plenty of money in the coffers to help those people. So the question is not whether God can do it again. The question is whether we will obey him again. The kingdom economy is not broken. The kingdom economy is not broken. It's waiting for bold Christians, bold churches, willing to stop bowing to mammon, stop bowing to fear, to comfort, to cultural logic, and start building with faith, obedience, and radical love. And if not us, then who? If not us, then who? If not now, then when? When are we going to seek change? The blueprint begins with where Jesus began. The blueprint started in the Gospels in Luke chapter 4. He announced the mission. His mission was to bring the good news to the poor, freedom to the captive, and to set the oppressed free. That was Jesus' mission. And at this time, that was a revolutionary manifesto, because at that time, the poor were cast-offs. I mean, you read a little bit about it, about Lazarus and the beggar, right? Sitting at the gates, begging. Nobody cared about the poor. But Jesus came to change that. How do we know that? Well, look what happened with Judas. When he said, why did you pour that ointment on his feet? We could have sold that and given it to the poor. That right there tells you that Jesus was concerned with the poor. He was providing for the poor. Let's read here in Luke chapter 4 and verse 38. Given it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over, it will be put into your bosom. For with the same measure that you use, it will be measured back to you. So giving is part of the blueprint. And like I said before, I'm not talking about building a better church. I'm not talking about getting a pizza kitchen. I'm not talking about having another campus. People don't need another place to meet. They need to eat. They need food. They need to be able to let their wife stay home and take care of the kids and homeschool them. These things are not impossible. These things are quite easy. And it's not for lack of abundance that these things don't happen. It's for lack of leadership, lack of direction. What does it mean to apply this to us today? It means that we're following James 1:27. What true religion is looking for. Looking after the orphans and the widows in their distress. It's about solving the problems of the people that are right in front of you. Don't worry about solving global poverty overnight. Just look for the needs that are in your own community and then do something about them. That's the kind of love that breaks down division. It forces us to see people, to look into their problems, to look into their lives, to see the faces that are right in front of us, to see Jesus in the person that is right in front of us. What does the Bible say? Jesus said, when you do this for the least of these, you've done this for me. When you feed them, when you give them water, you do that for me. You've done it to me. And when you don't do it, then you haven't fed Jesus. You haven't given him water. And you will be called into account for that. We are told to die to ourselves daily, pick up our cross, and go out and touch the world. That's what radical love looks like. That's what being a Christ follower looks like. Being a kingdom ambassador looks like. Now, if this message is hitting home for you, if this sounds like exactly what you've been looking for, and again, I want to reiterate, I am not a pastor. I am not a female pastor. I know that that is against the Bible. No disrespect to anybody. I am merely a teacher, someone who is studying the Bible, merely a Christ follower, trying to build a community of people who want to get together and make radical change in this world. And if that's you, then I want to personally invite you to become a part of this conversation. Take a few seconds and subscribe to the community. Subscribe to this channel. We can become together agents for healing and reformation. That's what the divine blueprint is. It's the reformation of our society. It doesn't start within the halls of justice, in the halls of power. It doesn't start with the government. We've been waiting on the government for 200 years. And here we are. It starts with the human heart. It starts with the transformation by the grace of Jesus. It starts right here with us when we decide to make the principles of Jesus our operating system for our lives. So if you're ready to be part of the solution, I want you to do one thing. I want you to take one practical step this week. When you're out in society, when you're out in the wild, tell somebody that you care about them. Tell somebody that you see them. Smile at them, wave at them. Let them know that they are not unseen. And if they give you an opportunity, then you share what gives you your joy and what gives you your peace. Because I am telling you, the world needs that. They need to know that what you have inside of you is real. And start showing people the true nature of our King, what love really looks like, what compassion, what radical generosity really looks like, what it feels like to belong to a group of people that care about you, that see you, that hear you, that are there for you, who will back you, who you can call in the middle of the night, when you can call when you're going through distress, who you can call when you're ready to celebrate, when you're getting married, when when you have good things happen in your life. To be a family. I do want to say, for those of us who haven't fully embraced and fully submitted to the Lordship of Jesus, it's not too late. Examine your heart. Ask God to show you the iniquities of your heart and be willing to surrender them. God is the one who does the changing, but you've got to offer it up. You've got to surrender it. For my brothers and sisters out there still talking about race and letting that be a separator and a deciding factor in whether or not you value a person, that is not of God. That is not of God. For my brothers and sisters out there who are still allowing politics, and whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, decide whether or not you value a person, that is not of God. That is not of God. That is not kingdom behavior. So let's be the world that we want to see. Let's do the things that we know make a difference in people's lives. All right, like I said, like, subscribe, share this video if you've had if it's benefited you in any way, and we'll meet back here again next time. Thank you.